morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to you. For good people of the tube, who today we're feeling grand and all's in your world. I am absolutely spaced out from the intro jam. I feel like I'm going to fall asleep. So if I just kind of like just keel over in the middle of this A and Q, I do apologise. But hopefully you can understand. I lost my brain in that one. I just gone, totally, not coming back, not yet. Don't remember any of it, but it felt good. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Who knows where we are? So anyway, let's get to your questions, shall we? Because that's what this video is about, isn't it, Dave? Okay, so question one today is, how do you get the around the world John Frusciante tone, the chaotic bit? Okay, so the chaotic bit, I'm assuming you mean like the intro bit and the kind of like bit after the second chorus, the bit where it goes. Sure, I can't get copyright claim for just that. Maybe, I don't know. I won't play any more. Let's just put it that way, because that's just a double stop. How do you get that sound? It's just the usual John tone. It's dirty clean, but it's bridge pickup. And the key to it is basically down to the way John has his guitars set up. I mean, back in the day, John used to play this on his Jaguar. Around the World was on 98, 99 into the 2000s. You see John playing this on his red, or there's one version of him playing it on his white Jaguar, but it's mainly his red Fiesta Red Jag. But what it is his bridge pickup, mainly. And after that, it was Telecaster. I've seen him play it on his Strat, but it's mainly Telecaster. But he has the bridge pickup. John has his bridge pickup higher than the neck pickup. So when he goes to the neck pickup, it's clean. So you get that kind of like cleaner, kind of John kind of tone. So you got that. But when you go to your bridge pickup, it stings more. It's got more. It's kind of a bit more overdriven. I hope you'll be able to hear that. And I'll say, when you're doing kind of like solos with it, it sticks more. So, all it is just bridge pickup and just furious strumming. Hopefully I won't get copyright claim for that. I don't know, we'll see. If this video gets demonetized, it gets demonetized. I won't be happy about that. If there's just silence in that bit, then you know I've been claimed. Anyway, but it's just a unison bend thing. But I say it's just that kind of like bending of the 12th fret. You're bending up the 14th fret on the G, and then you're barring the B and the high E strings on the 12th fret, and you're just strumming like a madman. You know, that's literally all it is. I am playing with fire, I feel, a little bit. But that's all it is. And I say it's bridge pickup. That is the key, and it's John's dirty clean tone that does the rest. Because the thing is, John's dirty clean tone, the easier John is with it, and this goes this way anyway with this kind of sound. The easier you are on your guitar, the cleaner your guitar is. So if I ease up, that's really clean. That's really clean. But if I dig in now, you know, it starts to break up and get a bit more aggressive. And the same with the bridge pickup. But if I dig in harder, you know, you start to hear that kind of bit more of a it starts to break up more. So it's a very dynamic sound, and it's one of the reasons why I love it so much is the fact you can do so much with it. You know, you can really dig in and get that kind of aggressive, distorted, but overdriven kind of thing. But ease up a bit, and it's really, really clean and sparkly. It gives a lot of dynamics, which again, you know, when you've got Marshalls cranked as much as John had, you're going to get those kind of dynamics anyway. You know, they really do. They, especially the I can imagine the major has a little bit more dynamic range than the Jubilee, just because it's a 200-watt beast. So when he's running it about 4, you know, an edge up break up thing, which is kind of like normally where plexis kind of start to break up is around 4. They're normally clean to about 4, and then once you get past 4, they start to kind of like go a bit more broken up. But you know, in my experience anyway, for what it's worth, unless it's some of the later plexis, which don't do that at all, but they're weird. Anyway, but yeah, so yeah, basically the key to it, like I said, is just bridge pickup and that dirty clean tone that John uses all the time. You know, it's never 100% clean, it's never 100% saturated and dirty, it's just like somewhere in the middle. And again, that's that kind of thing. It just kind of helps to control his pedals and his tone in general, really, and gives him a lot of dynamic freedom to kind of like, you know, when he's doing those kind of like funky kind of things. Yeah, you can be really light with it and get that really percussive thing, but when you dig in, it gets really aggressive. You know what I mean? So the key is it's just like full volume on everything. John doesn't really mess with his tones much. He doesn't really mess with his volume that much. He does every now and again. Bridge pickup and just strum the guitar like a madman with that kind of overdriven kind of, well, dirty clean tone, shall we say. So that's it. There's no real secret behind it, to be honest with you. And then, but I'll tell you one thing, actually. Later on in John's career, like Slane Castle era, By the Way period, John would actually engage the Ibanez wah as well. So in the Californication era, John would just use his Jaguar, and he would just basically have it on the bridge pickup and just strum the monkeys out of it, or his Telecaster. I've seen him play with his Telecaster as well, and he'd just strum the monkeys out of it, basically giving it that overdrive. By the Way period and some of the Stadium Arcadian period, when they played around the world, he would stick the Ibanez wah on, which would give it more distortion and more aggressiveness. You know what I mean? And you can hear him do that kind of like really cool thing at Slane Castle where he's doing that. But the Ibanez wah gets turned on for kind of like the By the Way period versions around the world. Like I say, Californication era just leaves it just the guitar. For By the Way onwards, it's the Ibanez wah on full tilt. So you turn it on, toe down all the way. You know, and that's that thing, and then I can't play it, but you know what I mean. So yeah, so I'm gonna write a letter to the Red Hot Chili Peppers saying, please can I play and teach your music, and see what they have to say. Do you reckon that's a good idea, people of YouTube? Should I send them a letter saying like, look, massive fan, I want to be able to teach your music on my YouTube channel. Can I please have permission to teach and play your music? I don't think that would work. I don't think Warner Brothers would go for that, do you? No, neither do I. Anyway, so I hope to answer your question anyway. Like I say, it's very simple, really. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, so going to move on to question 2 now. So I just realised, by the way, I haven't done an A&Q stood up for ages. But I had to do this one stood up because I have to demonstrate that. And I like it, actually. I like standing up. I mean, I don't like sitting down and playing guitar. And I like standing up in general. I don't know. It feels good. I'm a bit weird. Anyway. So let's move on to question 2 now. I'm out of my brain because of the intro jam. So question 2 is, what's your opinion on reversed angled pickups? Do they make a difference? So basically what you're talking about is instead of having your pickup angled the normal way on a Strat, so it's like that way, angled that way, does it make a difference? I think so, personally. I really do. I mean, my Jimi Hendrix Strat sounds different because you've got more string length. And string length, you know, is key. You know what I mean? The closer this pickup is to the bridge, the brighter and tinnier it will be. But if you move it away, the darker it will be. Hence, neck pickup is darkest pickup. We all know that, Dory Dave. But the angle does come into play, definitely. Because, you know, on a normal Strat style guitar, the low E string has the longest kind of like distance, so to say. So from the saddle to the actual magnet, there's it's a good inch and a bit from there to there, and whereas the treble side, the high E from the saddle to the thing is about an inch. So there is a difference. So that does make this string brighter because it's picking it up more it's picking it up there. So it's a brighter sound than here. I know the difference in string, But yeah, I reckon they make a difference. And also, you look at guitarists like Jake E. Lee; they think the same. Jimi Hendrix, obviously, the master. He obviously found that out as well. I think that was the reason why he never actually played a left-handed Strat. Is because he liked the reverse angle. It gave him more kind of warmth on the high strings. So I personally think there is a difference, yeah. And certain things I've experienced with guitars with reverse angle pickups and my own guitar with reverse angle pickups and certain other guitars as well, actually. Hofner Verythin. For example, my cousin's Hofner Verythin. That guitar's bridge pickup was so tinny. It used to be so tinny because it was unusable, to be honest with you. It was far too tinny, it was far too harsh, and it sounded like cack. Because the bridge, if it was this guitar, for instance, the pole pieces were literally here, like right in front of the bridge saddles, and because of there's literally no thingy. You've got this, really bright kind of tonality. So what I did is I flipped the pickup around so the pole pieces were further away, and all of a sudden you go from that to this. You can hear the difference. You know what I mean? So yeah, angle pickups, distance of pickups, height of pickups, all have a massive impact on sound and the way the guitar reacts. I feel anyway, personally. Like I say, I don't really like high pickups, apart from my Telecaster, and that's only the bridge pickup. But I don't really like my pickups really high. But the angle thing definitely does do something. Definitely, I feel that definitely, and I hear that. And I say distance from distancing pickups is so interesting, really. The different tonalities you can get by just moving the pickups about, And so my opinion is there's a definite difference between having the pickup slanted the normal way and then slanted reverse. Definite difference. You can really what's the word? You can hear a low in the high and a high in the low more, if that makes any sense. And also, like I say, distance and height. There's all sorts of things you can do with pickups. I mean, the super important to the sound you want is how your pickups are set up and whatnot. So yeah, but anyway, I can talk about that all day. But yeah, so that's my opinion really on the reverse angle pickup thing. I definitely feel there's a difference. Yeah. So people of the tube, I put this question to you. Anybody who's got a reverse angle pickups, do you feel there's a difference? Do you hear the difference? What is it? Let us know in the comment section below. Okay, so going to move on to question 3 now. Okay, so question 3 is, have you played any J&D guitars? No, I haven't. I've seen them, but I've never played any. No. They look good, but I've never tried any, so I can't really comment of what my opinion on them would be, if that makes any sense. Like I said, I've seen them around a lot, but I've never really played one, so I do apologise. That's about as far as I can go with that question. But another question I put to you people of the tube. Anybody out there who's played a J&D guitar, leave a comment below what it's like. Let us know in the comment section below. Okay, so moving on to question 4 now, everybody. Final question of the day. Okay, so question 4 today is... Now, this one could turn into a long one, so get comfy. How do you live with the consequences of your dissociation disorder? You just do. It's like you just have to get on with it. You know what I mean? It's like, having been finally kind of like diagnosed and finally got all the stuff that's kind of like wrong with my brain organised so I understand it has definitely helped. I mean, I reckon that's kind of key to living with any kind of like mental health problem, is understanding what you have and what it is in the first place. Because I suffer from dissociation disorder. I've got PTSD, anxiety disorder, depression problems, and I'm also autistic. So I have all those to deal with. And the autism side doesn't really work so well with certain of my things, because I fight, they kind of fight each other. But anyway, And also dyslexic as well. I'm dyslexic, so that's another thing on top of that as well, which kind of makes me struggle because the way I see and view things, it's very difficult. But anyway, but yeah, the way you deal with it and the way you kind of like, you know, how did you word it? So how do you live with it? It's you just, like I say, finding out exactly what's wrong with you in the first place and really getting to understand what it is that's inside, you know, that's kind of like wrong, you know, that's malfunctioning. I reckon is key, because the more you can understand it, the more you can kind of start to go, okay, so this might be caused by whatever. I know, for instance, my dissociation is caused by stress. So the less stress I put myself under, the more I can control that. You know what I mean? And funnily enough, recently I think I've kind of almost discovered that my anxiety and panic disorder, which I've kind of, you know, come to terms with. I mean, and there's another thing as well, before I go any further on that, acceptance. Now this is key to so much, I feel, is accepting that there's something wrong. Because I think there's a lot of people out there who will just downright flat refuse there's anything wrong with them or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just like, nope, I'm fine, I can do this. When in actual matter of fact, no, you can't like that. You know, I really do feel that accepting the way you are and just going, this is what I am, is what it is absolutely key to living with it. You know, I reckon that's same with anything. I mean, you know, it's like it is like anything. If you've got some kind of like, if you've got a problem and you kind of like refuse it, you're going to struggle to kind of like live with it. Whereas if you accept that and just go, well, that's what it is. You know, if there's nothing you can do about it, then that's what it is. Then that's what it is. You know what I mean? So I reckon acceptance is really key to kind of learning to live with a mental health problem, because it's the more you ignore and go, no, there's nothing wrong with me, no, the worse it's going to get, because I don't think you really understand where you are with it, and it'll just kind of take free reign with you. Because for the longest time, when I didn't accept, there was like, you know, I was like, no, if I don't talk about it, it's fine, if I don't talk about it, it's fine. That never worked. Don't do that. Just learn from my fail. That doesn't work. Talk about it. You need to talk it out. You need to get it out. Get out what's in. Because if you don't, it will eat you alive. Trust me. And it just makes things worse. All the years I was like, don't talk about it, don't talk about it, don't talk about it. It'll go away if you don't talk about it. It just made it worse. You know, it just made it stupid. And it got to a point where it was really hard to talk about it. And eventually now, I'm really happy with where I am now, where I can actually talk about it quite candidly. You know, I can talk about my panic and my dissociation and all this kind of thing quite candidly and happily. You know what I mean? I'm very happy to talk about it now to if it'll help someone, because it helps me when I talk about it. Because when you say things out loud, you realise what it is. When you process things in your brain, it could be anything. You know, that kind of hypochondriac thing that humans have in their brain of kind of like seeing things for what they're not. You know what I mean? It's like you can't see the wood for the trees kind of thing. And but when you say something out loud, it becomes real. And when it becomes real, it's kind of like, okay, get that now. You know what I mean? So always talk things out. I mean, like for instance, like, you know, if you're in a situation where you're panicking or whatever, and you can talk it out to somebody of why you're like that. You know, it's because da 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 da. That person can then reassure you, going, well, this can't happen, that can't happen because of this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? And again, you do need other people. No one can fight panic, anxiety, dissociation, whatever, on their own. It's impossible. You can't do it. Trust me, it doesn't work. No matter how kind of like, you know, I can do this kind of like strong mental attitude you've got, trust me, you can't do it. You know, you need other people to help you, and you need people around to understand you and where you're coming from, and also be sympathetic to you, and also give you the time to come back to normal. And they have to be patient with that, because unfortunately not everybody is. You know, some people don't understand mental health as much as they should, and as a result, when you go into a funny place, they'll they'll get angry at you, or they'll just kind of like, oh, whatever, deal with yourself, you know, or do that. You know what I mean? I'm sure everyone with mental health issues have that, you know, and it loses you a lot of it makes a lot of problems for your life, you know, and you lose people through it. You can lose people through the difficulty you face, because not everyone's willing to understand it, and not everyone can understand it. But not everyone's willing to actually sit down and try. That's the problem. You know, a lot of people, and again, I think this comes down to kind of like, you know, it's a symptomless problem. I do apologise with my phone, but it won't be my video if my phone didn't go off. If you don't see somebody with their eyes falling out, or their nose falling off, or their tongue falling out, then you don't think, oh my god, there's something wrong with you. You know, because the problem with panic and dissociation, anxiety, depression, you can't see it. It's in that person, and it's not felt to anybody or seen by anybody but them. And it's like you've got a scream in you. Like you're screaming inside. You're absolutely going, nah! You know, you are literally going. That's why I love the guitar. That and many reasons. But you're doing that inside. That is literally what's going on your side. I mean, it could even be like this. You know, that kind of thing's going on inside you. That's literally what it is. It's just that kind of But on the outside, you're like this. That's what that noise. Let me record it. This is a visual, audible representation of what's going on inside a panicking person, dissociation person's mind. So. You're okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine. Are you sure? Yeah, honest. I don't know, but that's how it feels to me. It's just chaos. When it kicks in, it's just utter chaos. And you just go, oh, I'm fine, don't tell anybody. And that comes from that whole stigma of kind of like, you know, people just kind of like not understanding it for years and years and years, and it just been kind of like this thing, you know what I mean, where you're like, you know, well, I can't see anything's wrong with you, so there must be nothing wrong with you. You know, where you're not inside, and as a matter of fact, it is that. You know, it's horrific. You know, it's not very nice. So yeah, I mean, how do you live with it? You just have to find your way. And it's literally like that. It's, you know, you have to find what triggers it, and just basically just fight it as best you can every day. Just kind of like just keep your head above the water, because I always feel that kind of like if you've got like a mental health issue, it's like every day what you are is you're in the middle of the ocean and you're floundering. Well, there's actually a couple of ways I see it. I'll tell you about it one in a sec. And it's like you're in the middle of the ocean and you're trying to keep yourself afloat, and you're like that. You know, and that's what you're doing every day. Is that just that kind of like, you know, to keep your head above the water to stop you slipping under. But every now and again you slip under, but you get back to the surface. You can always get back to the surface. The other one that I feel is like there's a couple that I feel, and these are kind of like my visual kind of aids, so to say, of like if somebody asks what it feels like to have this kind of thing, there's that one, which is that kind of struggle, that kind of panic. There's another one of kind of like the anxiety side, which is basically having somebody walking around with a gun pointed to your head all the time. You don't know if that gun's loaded, and they don't know if it's loaded, but they might pull the trigger if they feel like it. The other one is, like I say, another one, which is like having a murderer come up to you and say to you, one day I'm going to kill you. But, I know this is very dark, but this is kind of how it feels. It's like a murder criminal who said, one day I'm going to kill you, but I'm not going to tell you when, but I'm going to follow you every day, and you're going to see me every day until that one day I decide. So you're in constant fear of this because you don't know when that's going to happen. And it's, you know, those kind of like three things I kind of feel is like that, and then disassociation just piles on top of that with that whole thing of like, I don't feel real, you know, which is just horrific in every way, shape, and form. The thing about disassociation too is it just anti-egos everything. It's weird. You know what I mean? It's like it doesn't make you feel, because you can't have an ego in disassociation. It's really weird because you think you're dead. I did. You know what I mean? I thought I was dead for a year. I thought I was dead. I was either dead or in a coma. I came to conclusion that I was dead, and I had to wake myself up, or this is hell, or this is heaven. I don't know. You know what I mean? This is the afterlife, for whatever that is. But that's what dissociation is. But the thing is, you do have to just accept it. If it's part of you, it's part of you. You know what I mean? It's like your hands, or your arms, or your head, or your torso, or your legs, or whatever. You know, you accept that they're a part of you, so accept that this is part of you as well. Because that's the only way you're really going to be able to live with it. I feel there's a lot more people who can't live with it. The people who can't live with it are more along the lines of kind of like they will not accept there's a problem, or don't see it as a problem, or whatever. You know what I mean? To me, anyway, I'm probably wrong, but this is the way I see it. I mean, like I say, I can only see it from my perspective, so to say. But from what I've experienced, I mean, when I was kind of like ignoring it and just kind of, it'll go away if I don't talk about it kind of thing. Nonsense, that didn't work. When I was doing that, I was kind of like, you know, getting worse and worse and worse. It never made things any better being that way. So eventually, you know, you used to be like, oh God, what's wrong with me? You know, so you do have to talk it out, and you have to understand, and you have to learn how to live with your problem. You know, it does help massively if you have people around you who are willing to give you the time of day and help you need, and give you time and comfort and their presence when you go into this weird place. You know what I mean? That's really important, I feel. You know, you really, really need that. I don't think shutting yourself away and just disappearing on your own is a really good thing. It's a really bad thing, you know, because from my experience, that's when the demons come out, you know, and that's when you become, you know, where's the nearest cliff mode, which is you don't want that. You don't want that. You know, you want to live. Trust me, living's better. There's no fear in there's no fear in the after. We all have to walk that road, but you're not here long enough to enjoy it. You know what I mean? And the only way you're going to enjoy it is by accepting that it's part of you, and it's always going to be part of you, and you might not be able to shift it ever, but the fact is, you can live with it. You can make peace with it, and you can understand that sometimes you're going to be like that, but it's okay to be that way. If it's part of you, it's part of you. You know, there's no worry in it. You know, it's not really, you know, if you don't view it as kind of like the end of the world, which is what it normally feels like, especially disassociation, then the easier you'll have it. You know what I mean? Because you understand it more, and the less stress and the less pressure you can put on yourself in that kind of mind frame, that oh my God, the world! You know, that kind of thing. The better it'll be for you. You know, the less stress, the less craziness that you put on yourself will be so much better. It's not worth bending yourself out of shape for it. So understanding, accepting, and getting on with it are key. You know what I mean? And it's not worth trying to fight it yourself. You can't do it. Ask for help. Please, can you help me? It's not hard to say, and it's really important. You know, it's not weak to ask for help. I mean, I think that some people have that kind of chip on their shoulder, is they think it's a weakness that they've got to ask for help. It's not. It's more strong. It's stronger to ask for help than I can do this. You know what I mean? To actually go to somebody and say, look, I'm in trouble. I need help. It is stronger because people don't like to admit there's something wrong with them, or admit that they can't do something themselves. But you do. Humans are a bit silly in that way, I feel, in the fact that we should just all acknowledge the fact that we need each other. No one can live without anybody. You can't live on your own. No one can. It's impossible. You know what I mean? Go and live on your own for a year and see how you feel at the end of it. You will be lonely. You know what I mean? Everyone needs some kind of company. You know what I mean? And sometimes it doesn't have to be human company. Sometimes it can be musical company. But there is nothing quite like talking to somebody who will give you their time and their patience and their comfort when you're having a bad time. There is nothing like a human at that point. You know, that is everything at that point. You know what I mean? Because everyone has a comfort blanket, but everyone does need somebody to talk to. It really is important. Especially if you're going through anything. Like, you know what I mean? Trouble. Especially in this day and age. I mean, we all need to... all need to just, I don't know, accept things and get on. And just try and be as good as we can be instead of just... I don't know. Maybe I've just been hippie zen, man. I don't know. But it feels right to me. That's what feels right to me. I don't know if it is right. I don't care. It feels right to me. It's like, you know, there's so much ugliness in the world. It's like, you know, how can you write that? You can't write it by being horrible. You know what I mean? You can't write that by being against each other just because of some stupid petty thing. You know, you're not going to be able to write it for anything that way. You're not going to be able to right any wrong that way. You know? And again, especially if you've got a mental health condition, which, you know, unfortunately is on the rise because of what's going on, it's like, you're going to need people, and people are going to have to understand this more and more. As the years go on, people need to start understanding mental health, and they need to start giving it time of day, and giving people time of day with it. So when all that chaos kicks on in their head and they need help, you're there for them. You know what I mean? You can't just leave people like that because they are going to jump off a cliff. Because I nearly have 1,000,000 times. You know what I mean? I've tried so many times just to make it stop. And it wasn't really until last year I was like, that's not... Well, that was. Yeah, sorry everyone, that's a hair, I think. I don't know what that was. It wasn't until last year I realised that I don't want that. And I've never wanted that. It was just a way out. It was just a way to make it stop. That's all that was. It wasn't particularly what I wanted. I want to be able to live and play my guitar and play music for people like you, and I want to, you know, be alive to do that. I can't be dead and do that. You can't do it if you're dead. And I'd much rather be alive. Yeah. And I'm sure anybody who's going through this would at the end of the day. It's just, it does seem like the only way out sometimes. And I can totally understand that because I've been there. And I totally understand where you are. And it's effing horrible. I know how horrible that is. But you can, you know, acceptance, understanding, finding what it is in you that it's affecting, and what situations affect you. You know what I mean? I do apologise. You know, what is it? Is it stress? Is it a certain person? Is it a certain situation? What is it and why? And start really understanding and analysing exactly what it is. You know, why do I feel not good enough? Well, what is it? You know, what is it about this or that or whatever that makes me feel like this? You know, so you know you have to be a bit analytical of yourself. You know, and it helps to write this down as well. Like, you know, just get a book and doodle in it. Like, why am I feeling this way? Da, 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 da. You know what I mean? Like, you know, what is it? You know. And eventually it does become clear. And the clearer it is, the better you are at understanding it. So you go, right, okay, I'm getting stressed. I need to just go away from this situation. I need to take myself out of the situation and go away. Because if I don't take myself out of the situation soon, I'm going to have a problem. And I just need to go. You know what I mean? You need to understand that. But you also need to understand the difference between the dark side of you just wanting you to go and be on your own because it hates you and wants you, yeah, get on your own, you loser. You know, you have to tell the difference between that voice and the voice of, it would be healthy for me right now to just take myself out of this situation. And that's another hard part. And that's what I really struggle with. Because, as, you know, yeah, is what it is. But how do you live with the consequences of it? It's you just do, and you just have to have people around you who understand. If at the end of the day, I know, and this is going to sound quite harsh, but at the end of the day, if someone in your life is not willing to give you time of day, if you're struggling, and they just kind of like see your problem as a problem to them and their life, then you don't really want to be around that person, because that's just not going to help you. That's just going to bury you even more. You know, it's like a person like that is like, give you like a visual analogy of that. It's like if you're in a hole, and like, you know, the edge is up, and like you're trying to reach to get, I can't quite reach the edge of a hole to pull myself up. Like it's just out the length, like, you know, a hand's length, and you're reaching, and you kind of like that, but the ledge is there. What that person's doing is they're looking down at you, but not only are they looking down at you and not helping you, they're actually filling the hole in, which is making you worse, because you're like, oh my god, now I can't get out. That's what that person is doing. Whereas, if you've got somebody in your life who comes to that hole, sees you in there, and goes, here, let me help you out, that's what you want. Unfortunately, not everyone's willing to do that, and it's a shame, because I do feel that mental health is more understood now than it has been in the past, but it's still not understood enough, if that makes any sense. So, yeah, I mean, be that for what it may. But it's hard, man. It's just difficult. But you can do it. You can do it. You've just got to try, and you've got to fight for it. You know, every day you just got to, you know, pick up your sword and your shield, and you got to go to war again. And some days it's easy. Some days you're just walking, and it's like walking across the battlefield, like there's nobody here. Other days you're fighting tooth and nail for it. But it's all worth it if you keep pushing. And that is the key. You've got to keep going. You've got to keep walking. You can't just kind of go, okay, fine. You know, you've got to keep going. You've got to accept it and go, okay, I accept that I've got this problem, but I'm going to go anyway. You know, it's like somebody saying to you, it's like, you know, you can go and do this, but you're not coming back from it. But you know, in the, like, you know, it's like a quest, if you will, where it's like, you know, you need to go on this quest. You know you're not going to come back from it, but in the long run, it's better for everyone. So you need to go and do it, and you just force yourself on. You push yourself on, and you do it, and you do it, and you do it, and it's worth it in the end. You know what I mean? That's literally it. You know, that is literally everything. Well, that's the way I see it anyway. I mean, for what the way I see it is worth, that's the way I see the world now. It's different to how I saw it a couple of years ago when I was in a very, very bad place. 2019 was a bad year. 18 wasn't great. 17 wasn't great. Things were just getting worse, you know. And but no, I mean, things have changed, and I feel a lot more kind of positive. And therapy helped me a lot with that as well. When I went to cognitive behavioural therapy, and that really helped me, because I was able to talk it out and understand exactly what's going on. Thanks to my the therapist I had, Emily, her name was, and I'm so grateful to her, because she really helped me understand me. You know, because I didn't know who I was really. I didn't understand it until she kind of really helped guide me out of, you know, and help me out of that hole. You know what I mean? Instead of kind of like throwing mud in, like some people have been doing over my life, like, you know, and trying to bury me. She and quite a lot of other people kind of reached a hand down and just pulled me out, you know, and helped me, and I'll be forever grateful for that. And you know, I'm lucky I've got quite a lot of people like that. I mean, my heart breaks for people who don't have people like that, because that makes it just infinitely harder, if not impossible almost. You know, you need people around you who are going to help you out, not bury you. You know what I mean? But anyway, be that for what it may, people with tubes. So yeah. But the consequences of it are, it's like, you know, at the end of the day, is if somebody doesn't like your problem, or they have a problem with the fact of, you know, that your problem makes their problem and it's making their life hard, that gets on my nerves. I hate when people say, especially people who don't suffer from it. If people, don't have a mental health issue, saying your mental health issue is really making my life hard. It's like, how do you think my life is then? If it's making your life hard and you have to deal with it from a distance, how do you think how do you think people who go through that on a daily basis, every minute, every second of the day, how do you think they feel? It's just selfishness, that is, at that point, and I don't stand behind that. I do not stand behind that. If somebody needs your help in that situation, you help them, and if you don't help them, it says more about you, in my opinion. But hey, just my opinion. I'm not going against it. It's just that the people who have helped me have given me time of day. People who haven't helped me have just gone, whatever, man. But you know what I mean. So you need people who are going to pull you out of the hole. You need people who are going to kick that murderer who said he's going to shoot you one day in the nuts. Yeah, you need somebody who's going to come with a boat and rescue you from the middle of the sea. You need those people. You need things like this to help you as well, and the music to help you, and whatever it is, whatever creates salvation in you, that's what you need, you know what I mean, and that peace of mind. But I do feel acceptance is really key to it, like I've said anyway. But yeah. But there you go. How do you deal with it? It's just you just got to keep going. You've just got to keep going. You've got to keep living and keep breathing. And the longer you do it, and the more you accept it and the more you understand it, the easier it gets. It never gets really easy, unfortunately. I can't say that everything becomes a walk in the park and everything's hunky-dory again, but things do get easier if you accept it and you just kind of like go with it. You know what I mean? Just going to go, I understand this. And understanding and acceptance is just key to everything. It's like learning the guitar. Understanding what you want to do with the guitar and what where you want to go with it is key. Understanding what sound you want, what guitar you want, what pedals, amp, blah blah blah, all that stuff that we love. It's key to understanding and then accepting when you've got it. That's the sound I want. You know what I mean? That's key. Instead of kind of like constantly trying to, it's not that. You know what I mean? It's, we're always, we as guitarists, we like to muck around with different pedals, different amps, different guitars. But I do think there comes a time where you have to realise, what is you. You know what I mean? So yeah. Anyway, for enough, what, mate? But yeah, anyway, I'm going to stop there, people, because I can talk about that for hours, and I will if I'm not careful, if I don't stop myself. So I'm going to stop there, but I hope it's answered some kind of part of your question. I do apologise if it was a bit garbled, if that makes any sense. But I hope it made some kind of sense. But anyway, I hope this A&Q has been okay. I hope this question's okay. If you want to submit a question for your A&Q, description box below has an email link. Just email me there. I will get to it. It just takes me a bit of time. I think I'm 3 weeks behind at this point in time. 2 or 3 weeks behind, which isn't bad. I'm kind of catching. But yeah, so let me know if you've got a question. Just say email me there and let me know if it's all okay. And I say, yeah, so thank you very much for watching, everybody. I'll see you again very soon for another one. Have a great morning, afternoon, and good evening. Goodbye now. Thank you very much for watching.